Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. My name is Brian, and I am an alcoholic. Welcome, everybody. A reminder that we record all speakers at this meeting, so if you hear a message here that you think somebody could benefit from, you want to get a copy of one of the speakers, past or present, you know what I mean? You can see me or any home group member after the meeting. If you wanted a copy of, like, the speaker from tonight, you can get that next week at the meeting, or you can also get it from our sister group, which is a big book study Thursday nights at 7:30 at Salem Church. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we got a special for 2020. All hoodies are free with a $20 donation, so jump on that. What else we got? In this room on Monday nights at 7:30, there's an Al-Anon meeting. There's also an Alateen meeting at 6:30, you know what I mean? So you can pass that along. We affect a lot more than, just the alcoholic. You can pass that along to friends, families, you know what I mean? A lot of people we can help with that. What else we got? This group has a Facebook page. It has a website if you want to stay informed on, like, upcoming speakers and events. A lot of groups post happenings, speakers, workshops. If you have anything going on, we encourage you to post it to the Facebook page. If you got speakers, celebrations, whatever it be, you can bring in flyers, put them on the back table. With that, I guess I'm going to bring Eric up here. He's going to chair the meeting. Thank you, guys. Have a good time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric, and I'm an alcoholic. This is a one-hour speaker meeting that meets every Saturday evening at St. Paul's Lutheran Church, 301 North Main Street at 8:30 p.m. in Doylestown, PA. The business meeting for this group meets every Saturday at 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. right here. The purpose of the group is to provide a consistent message of hope and recovery through godly lines and service to others through the practice and teaching of the 12 steps. We record all speakers so that others may benefit from their message of recovery. If you wish not to be recorded, simply ask. This is an open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. The group would like to welcome everyone, especially newcomers. Is there anyone new or from out of town that would like to introduce themselves with their first name? Hi, Angie. Welcome. Anyone else? Yes. Hello, Jim. Welcome. Welcome. The Conscious Contact Speaker. Oh, one more, I'm sorry. Hello, Corey. Welcome. The Conscious Contact Speaker Group encourages sponsorship. Would anyone with a working knowledge of the 12 steps and is willing to sponsor, please raise your hands. Are there any announcements for the good of AA? We have meeting lists and big books on easy terms. Please see me or any home group member after the meeting. If you cannot afford a big book, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group will give you one at no charge. Anyone willing to make donations for the purchase of big books and CDs to help those who can't afford them can put donations in the jar on the table marked big book and CD donations located in the back of the room. If you would like a CD of any speaker, past or present, see me or Ron before or after the meeting. They are available free of charge. And with that, I'm going to have Nick come up to read the AA preamble.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the meeting. My name is Nick. I'm an alcoholic. Today I'll be reading the preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for an AA membership is the desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for an AA membership. We are self-supporting for our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. I would like to introduce my speaker, Eric, who's going to be going over the steps.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. I am also Eric. I'm an alcoholic. All right. The AA 12 steps of recovery. 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for our knowledge and His will and for us and the power to carry that out. And 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to other alcoholics and to practice these principles in our affairs. Thank you. I'm going to have Eric come back up and introduce the speaker.
The seventh tradition: every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. At this time, I would like to pass the basket. We have no dues or fees, but we have expenses. This group provides many services. Your donations cover rent, big books, CDs, events, and workshops. There is absolutely no smoking on church property. Please take a moment to silence all cell phones and limit movement during the meeting to avoid distractions. And now I'm going to introduce a good friend of the Conscious Contact Speaker Group, Shannon B. from the Fellowship of the Spirit group out of New Jersey.
My name's Shannon. I'm an alcoholic. It's good to be here. Ron, thank you. Thank you for asking me to come out and participate in my own life. And do the very thing that was talked about in the beginning of this meeting when you guys opened up with your readings, and that's to be of service to you. And that's the only reason why I'm here tonight. I used to come to podiums and speak and get asked to speak around, and I thought that I had to come out here and, hit you guys with a power share that was, all the ladies would ask me to marry them afterwards, and, all the guys would say, dude, I'm dropping my sponsor right now, 45 years, will you work with me? And I know you only got 82 days, but man, you are powerful. And I was wrong, by the way. That's not why we're here. And I came out earlier today. About 10 minutes away, a friend of mine, Shay, and her husband asked me to come out. We had a little workshop out at their house today, and so I've been out here all day talking about God. And what a gift it's been. And it was neat. I was talking to Ron before I got started, and he kind of said, what'd you guys do? Did you guys cover like the steps? And I don't even know what the hell we did, but we had a lot of fun doing it. And really what we did is we didn't have anything planned. We didn't have any agenda. Our ideology was really kind of from the set aside prayers. Let's just put aside everything we think we know and have a new experience. And lo and behold, there was a girl there tonight that, she had an experience. And she started sobbing and she started crying, and we were able to wake up some things inside of her that maybe wouldn't have been woken up if I was too busy to say yes today. I love Alcoholics Anonymous. I really do. And when I say Alcoholics Anonymous, I mean like the whole deal. All of it. I love the fellowship. I love the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I love to serve. I really do. My home group is the Fellowship of the Spirit group. It's some verbiage from our big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's also part of the lineage and sponsorship that I'm part of. My sponsor is Mike M. from Cedar Rapids. His sponsor was Don Pritz for many, many, many years. And I love Don's, the way he taught and the way that he gave this thing away. And one of his, I think, his biggest message to all the men, and he worked with several men all over the world, the thing that he really tried to always emphasize is whatever you do, do it with love. Do it with love. And I'm going to do my best tonight to share my story with that same belief. I'm going to try to love you guys. When I say I'm a member of a home group, what that means is that, I'm a member. I chop wood and carry water at my home group. I do chores. I have actually a couple commitments that the group holds me accountable to. You know, I used to think service was just kind of, hey, I'm at the meeting. I mean, that's service enough. And here's the deal: if that's where you're at right now, and that's what you're doing, that's okay. That's okay. I learned along the way, stumbling in and out of these rooms since the 80s, burning my life to the ground over and over and over and over and over again, that I'm of that type. When I say I'm an alcoholic, I'm that guy in that class that the doctors talked about back in Towns Hospital of the hopeless variety. It doesn't make me special in AA. It doesn't make me sicker than others. What it means to me, and I know today from my own experience, all it really means is that, the book actually says what it means. And what the doctors observed, and I think it's pretty profound and it's pretty neat, someone who's not wired like us was able to at least step back. And there was one thing that they did with us, and they did what the book said, is they set us apart as a distinct entity. Meaning the people that can't stay sober no matter what good you put in front of them. The guys that come into the hospital and say, Doc, I'm done this time. I will never do this again. I love my wife. I don't want to lose my job. Oh my God, Jesus, that was crazy. I will never do that again, and they're back a week later. And this just goes on and on and on and on. And the doctors actually go a little bit further. And one of the things that they were able to observe, and that's what I mean when I'm of the hopeless variety, is the doctors came up with a kind of a pretty neat deal. And they said, and unless this person, that means this person in this class, can experience an entire psychic change, he's not going to make it. She's not going to make it. Or what they say in a kind of a political friendly way is there's very little chance of their recovery. And for me, there's zero chance. I won't make it. I need a complete overhauling. And I didn't understand that for a really long time in and out of the rooms of AA. I thought AA was just kind of, I guess I got something going on with drinking and I get in trouble when I drink, and now I'm here in these churches and drinking terrible coffee and laughing at stupid jokes, and I'm doomed to this for the rest of my entire existence, and Jesus, this sucks. This is painful. Sobriety is painful with no solution. It hurts. It hurts. Carl Jung made an observation with Roland when he was doing some work with Roland, and I think it's pretty profound, and I share this with guys and gals that I end up working with, is he said one of the things that he noticed a lot of things about people like us that drank the way that we did, but the one thing that he really noticed, especially with Roland Hazard that he had worked with for several months over in Switzerland, is he had said with the alcoholic of his type, really, if you peek behind the veil, really what was going on there is what they really had was a thirst for a connection with the divine. Is that too deep for you? Everyone's looking at me like I got a horn growing out of my forehead right now. I'll put it another way. Isn't it ironic that we call alcohol spirits? I had a thirst for a connection with spirit. I just was chasing the wrong one for a really long time. And it got to a point where it almost killed me. And really the only reason why I'm here tonight, and I've been sober for the length of time that I've been sober, and I've adopted these spiritual principles into my life, the best way to sum it up, it's not because I'm a guy of virtue. It's not because I woke up one day and said, let's do this. It sounds like a good idea. Really what ended up happening is, like my book says, is that circumstances drove me to that place. I got to a point where it made more sense to do this stuff than to not. That's it. That's the only reason why I'm up here tonight, why I'm sober, and why I've tapped into a power that still today, that doesn't still make sense. But what's neat is if you come to my home group, and a couple of people in here have been to my group before. If you show up on a Sunday night at 7 o'clock, you'll know I'm a home group member by my actions. And I got to see that tonight here. I got to see a whole bunch of happy greeters and Jesus. I mean, I remember the only time I put on a suit and tie is when I had court. You know, honestly, I'm not even trying to be funny, and that was even a stretch. I mean, my public defender would say, "You better wear a suit." And I'm like, "A what?" Like, I had a T-shirt that looked like a tuxedo, but they didn't, you know that one, right? But that doesn't, no. And it's funny, we were kind of talking about this today at Shay's house, and I was actually a member of the Atlanta group up in Manhattan for some years. I got sober in New York City and Brooklyn, and it baffled me why people wore suit and ties to meetings. Like, what's your deal? What's your problem? You're doing that to piss me off. You know, with my 4 days sober, but I didn't understand. I'm serious. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, what's with the suits? Who are you trying to impress? And I remember the sponsor that I asked, he was my first sponsor for first 5 years of sobriety. We started kind of getting up and running and doing step work, and then, God shows up and says, "Hey, will you speak here?" And he said, "One of the things that I want you to start doing, Shannon, you don't have to if you don't want to, but when you go to speak, throw on a tie." Now, my mindset, I'm not wearing a tie, and you're not going to make me wear a tie. But I wore a tie. I didn't even know how to tie it. I'm being dead serious. I still don't, to be honest with you. I was in the mirror today. I'm like, And you know what hit me it was some months later, we were standing out in front of the Atlanta group, and the commitment is to wear a shirt and tie. It's the second tradition, the group conscience of that meeting. Is a guy came up to me, he said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Why do you wear a shirt and tie?" And an awakening, a little bit of an epiphany had hit me, and I thought about it for a minute. And I said, I don't even know. I do it because my sponsor asked me to. I don't need any other reason. I really don't. I did it not because my sponsor is some type of an authoritative figure. He wouldn't have came to me and said, "Well, you're fired if you don't wear a tie." But what he did know is he knew the very essence of the thing that treats alcoholism. One of the little things, and hopefully we'll do that tonight, is we'll be able to cover a lot of different things on the spectrum, the thing that really treats alcoholism. And one of the main proponents, fuel, elements, ingredients, whatever you want to call it, that treats alcoholism, feed the thing that should be starved. And starve the thing that should be fed, that shouldn't be fed. I've been feeding my ego my whole life. I've been doing things contrary to what everybody else is doing. I'm not going to wear it. Why? The better question would have been back then, why don't you wear a tie? Because I don't have to, that's why. And that way of life, well, it doesn't end well. So I wear a tie when I come here. And I do it now today, and it's still not a thought when I get asked to speak. There's some people that'll wear a tie poolside. I'm not one of those guys. I don't wear a tie to a detox commitment. And if you do, that's okay, kind of. But I didn't wear a tie today at Shay's house going through the big book. But when I'm up here in a room of Alcoholics Anonymous, I actually kind of get excited to throw the shirt and the tie and the shoes, because I have a profound respect for this divine place that saved my life. If any other reason, that's why I do it. You guys saved my life. You guys gave my mother her son back. A couple people that know me personally and have seen some stuff on Facebook, they just came, they came up to me. I had a daughter 9 months ago. Well, my wife did. I was there for moral support. My wife had I want to be 49 years old in March. And I remember I started dating this woman who's in AA. And we started dating, and we were seeing each other for a while, and she said, did you ever think about getting married? And man, I didn't even bat an eye. I didn't pause. I cut her off mid-sentence. I said, absolutely not. I will never get married. And 7 months later, I was married. During our marriage, she came to me one day. I was doing something. I think I was doing something with a sponsee, and I was on the phone with a sponsee, and she came downstairs and she said, I need to talk to you now. And now she's in AA, and she knows that time with sponsees. It's a divine time. If the door's shut, you don't knock, and I have the same respect for her. She was ripping the door up. Get upstairs. And I'm really concerned. Is someone dying in our family? What's going on? And I went upstairs, and I looked over at her, and she was holding a pregnancy test. And she said, I said, I guess I was wrong about that too, huh? Because she had asked me previously, would you ever think about having a child? And I said, absolutely not. No way in hell. Where do you put a car seat on a Harley? I mean, it just doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't add up. Right, because what happens, here's the thing, and because anytime I'm up here or I'm sitting down with a guy, one of my very important mantras that I live by is I want to be current. I don't want to stand up here for however long I stand up here tonight and talk. We do talk about the past somewhat, but I really like to talk about what's currently going on with me and how God's working in my life. And sometimes to talk about how self still rears its ugly head, and I get in my little jackpots that I get in, and so on and so forth. But the moral of this whole thing is that I wasn't a happy camper when she said that she was pregnant. In fact, I said some things that well, you know what I said. Let's take care of this thing. We're not having it. I mean, there's no. I actually said there's no debate here. There's no conversation. We are having an abortion. I'm not having this child. I'm 48 years old. There's no way in God. No, my whole life will be over. I won't be able to do AA anymore. How am I going to go to Vegas? How am I going to go to retreats? How am I going to go on speaking commitments? Right, the mind took over at that point. That's when God became nothing. Me and my wife are in the middle of a divorce right now. And that little baby girl, Autumn Lee, will be 10 months old in next month. This month, January 23rd. She is God. I don't know why God put Jen and I together and then split us apart a year later. It's none of my business. Maybe it's to bring that beautiful little girl Autumn into this world and teach her spiritual principles so that she too can go out there and love and be of service. I don't know. But here's the thing that I wanted to share with you tonight, and then I'll get into my story. And I'm not one of these guys that goes in some weird chronological, I was born and then this happened, and I just kind of go wherever God takes me. Because I want to share a promise with you guys tonight. If there's anything I say tonight, you don't have to buy my tape. Please don't, actually. That this deal that we're a part of, it's a design for living that really works. As of 3 weeks ago, I moved into an apartment up in Hamilton, New Jersey. I'm not a Jersey guy. My wife's in that house with the baby. I see the baby 3 times a week. And because of the practice and teachings of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and adopting the 12 traditions into my relationship, even in the divorce process, I keep getting texts and phone calls and conversations from guys that I sponsor saying, how the hell do you do this with so much dignity and grace? How are you? I had a guy who was sharing this earlier with Shay and the bunch that over at her house. The guy kept saying to me, either today or yesterday, one of my sponsors, "You're a better man than I am. You're a better man than I am." I don't know, how the hell do you do? You guys are still getting along with one another, and you're getting a divorce. Aren't you supposed to be burning her house down and keying her car and? No. The book promises me in these steps and these concepts and these traditions and good sponsorship, it promises that no matter what comes down the pipe, I'll be okay. And that's my promise here to anyone in here tonight. I don't care if you listen to anything I say here. I really don't. I used to come to, like I said at the beginning, I used to come here thinking I had to do this and do that behind this microphone, and I don't. In fact, I didn't even want to work the steps when I got to AA. Just put me right into the podium. I just straight to the podium. I want to go there. I got stuff I got to say, and I got to tell you guys what I think. And still today, I'm happy that you don't care what I think. And I'm going through a grief right now, and I'm going through a loss, and I'm going to honor that. I'm not going to try to hide in AA and try to throw a whole bunch of commitments at it and a whole bunch of this and stand up here tonight and throw a whole bunch of stuff. And no, I'm going to do that stuff anyway. I'm doing that stuff because I'm an alcoholic. I'm doing that stuff because if I don't do it, I'll drink. And if I drink, I think it's truly amazing that my wife and I we're about 85% through the divorce. Neither one of us even hired a lawyer. And I got guys in there going, that's stupid. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I trust God. I really do. And I'm not some spiritual hippie. I just trust God. He'll take care of it all. I got to do some work too. But it just seems like when I continue to help God's kids and I continue to serve God and I continue to be the best member of Alcoholics Anonymous I can be, and I brought that into my relationship when I met her. It seems like because of that, even in a divorce, her and I are good. We're square. We're square. How is that possible? She 10-stepped something with me the other night. When we've only been physically apart from our house for 3 weeks. She came home, I was spending time with the daughter. She goes, "This might be kind of weird." And I'm like, "Oh, here we go." Should have got a lawyer. No, right, the ego's like, "I got this, Shannon." And she started crying, and she said, "I got a 10-step something with you." I couldn't get a hold of my sponsor. My soon-to-be ex-wife is 10-step something with me. And it was authentic, and it was real, and I got to listen to her, I got to feel her pain, and I got to be compassionate. And here's the cool thing that happened, is the role got dropped for that very moment in time. She wasn't my ex-wife. She wasn't even Jennifer. She was just another one of God's kids. Life hasn't always been like that. I suffered horribly. Maybe I'll talk about that tonight. I don't know. But I suffered horribly in and out of the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous since 1988. There's people that weren't even born then that are in this room here. And that's not bragging, by the way. It's not something to brag about. I'm saying that because I'm just talking about the grave nature of alcoholism. The book says the baffling feature of every alcoholic, as we know, this utter inability to leave it alone, no matter how great the necessity nor the wish. How many times have people in this room, with all sincerity, like tears flowing, pain, dark night of the soul, I am done, I will never do this again, and you did it again. And then you did it again. And then you did it for 3 more decades. Desperately trying to recreate a party that died back in the 90s. That's really what alcoholism is, right there in a nutshell. Page 44 of our big book, We Agnostics, I think sums it up the best. And there's a couple things in there that Bill says, and I pose them as questions when I'm sitting down with a sponsee. And it goes something like this. Can you stay stopped on your own? Without any kind of step work, no home group, typically the answer is like, hell no. Okay, so let's say you give in and you fall victim to the delusion that you can drink again and you drink again. Here comes the caveat, the crux. Do you have little control over the amount you take once you start to drink? And you get the protege that now, oh, geez, oh, do I ever? And I'm like, good, because you're screwed. Or the way the book says it is that then you may be an alcoholic. And you may be suffering from an illness which only a spiritual experience will conquer. Oh, man, and when I'm new and I hear spiritual experience, I'm like, great, I'm never getting laid again. I don't say that to be vulgar. I don't swear from the podium, and you won't hear me. I really don't. I have respect for that. But I mean, at the same time, come on. I need to be authentic here, and that's the very first thing that goes through my mind. Great, no more sex. No more sex, and I'll have to wear like hoodies and. Right, Ron? 1 hour will change your life. Yeah, I bet it will. I'll be hanging myself with a shoelace in the bathroom after 42 minutes. Yeah. Thank you, Doylestown Speaker Group. Because I just can't connect the dots when I get here. I walk into a place like this tonight, and when I walk in now that I've started to kind of waken up spiritually, and I see the love, and I see, Ron's excited about AA, and the guys are running around with shirts and ties on, and both shoes match, and the laces are in them, and it's like, but they're excited. They really are. You can feel it when you shake their hand. They're just so happy and just so grateful to be a part of something, and when you're new, you don't see any of that. You don't. And I'm telling you from experience, you don't see it. Me with a week sober, with me on me, I am not coming to a place like this. It scares the hell out of me. You guys are... Because you're happy. You're free. In the same sentence. And you're sober. I put down the drink, I put down the medicine, and I feel like I'm doing time. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. And sometimes I don't feel that way at all. Sometimes I think, wow, this is it. I'm home. AA, rock and roll, let's do this. I'm going to stay sober for oh my God, woo! And I'm drunk a month later. Sometimes I don't think about it at all, I'm just drunk. And I got to a point in my journey where I honestly thought that maybe I'm just a guy that's such a loser that even a guy like me can't get this. I know Joe over here can get it. And yeah, I know Joe's just like me, and we grew up in the same neighborhood and played with the same toys and swung on the same swings, and he's got 2.5 years sober, and I can't string together 45 days. Maybe I'm constitutionally incapable of getting this thing. And that's a really dark place to be. When what we call in here the last house on the block, that's not for you either. How many people in this room are in their first year of recovery? Raise your hand, please. How about first 30 days? Welcome. Welcome home. And I won't lie to you like most people do and tell you the most important person in the world and the most important person in the room. And I don't mean that as a diss. This journey is about becoming no one. Become nobody. Self-importance almost killed me. I'm not talking to you directly, of course. But I will say that if you've been able to relate to what others have talked about, including myself here tonight, I will make a promise to you that if you roll up your sleeves and show up in your life like I did when it really didn't make sense, your life will explode into a direction that you never thought was possible. And I love you. And I really do. I used to hear people say, if no one told you today they love you, I do. And I'm like, that's the first person I'm punching in the face when I get out of the car. Not even, and it would be a lady. 90 pounds soaking wet. At least I had a chance, right? Maybe. She did have some steps in her life. She might kick me. I'm not that person. I don't remember my first drink of alcohol, but I do remember at a very young age what alcohol did for me. And I don't have a unique story. Alcohol did for me what it did for a lot of other people that I know intimately and personally in this room. What it did for me, it doesn't do for my brother Andy. My brother Andy goes out on a Friday night and has a couple Coronas and smokes a bowl with his work buddies, and guess what he does the next day? Goes to work again. Wakes up in his house. What a concept. Doesn't wake up in a bodega in the Bronx in an after-hours joint with a transvestite. Not that I have, I'm just... Sponsee of mine, I'll tell you about later. Because he doesn't have that thing, right? He doesn't have that thing. And that thing is what the doctors call the phenomenon of craving. That physical thing. And I love what the doctor's opinion says. I think it's extremely important. The doctor, Silky, says that if we leave out the physical factor, the story's incomplete. We're not telling the whole story. We need to talk about it. You either got this thing or you don't. And some people have heard this before, and I'm going to say it again because it's very important. I do this with the folks that that I have the honor to take through this process, is there's kind of a thing that's been going around over the years, and you kind of hear things in here, and I'm not, and some folks here today heard me say this, and I'll just say it again, is I'm not in the debating society. I'm not here to say what you say is wrong or what you believe. That's not my deal. I quit playing God. It's too much. However, I think that it's my responsibility as a member of Alcoholics Anonymous to do everything I can with love and dignity to ensure that we try to do our best to live by the long form of the third tradition. And what does that mean? Well, you hear things in here like a drug is a drug is a drug. Or, it's all the same anyway, right? At the end of the day, it's all the same. First of all, no, it's not. No, it's not. And I don't say that from a place of judgment. I've done more drugs than Cheech and Chong combined. It's not our message here. It's not our shtick. It's not. But what our message is you either have this allergy or you don't. Period. In the doctor's opinion, the doctors again made a kind of an observation. And one of the things they say in there is one of the things we've noticed is that the action of alcohol, it doesn't say alcohol, Percocet, blah, blah. It says the action of alcohol not only means chronic alcoholics, is a manifestation of an allergy that sets them apart as a distinct. They're talking about alcohol, and then he even follows it up and he says, in any form at all. People know the big book, know what I'm talking about? And somehow over the years, we've taken what the doctors have said, action of alcohol, and said, and I think that means heroin, cocaine, crack, meth, blah. No, that's not what it means. They're doctors, I mean, they're kind of smart. If they meant all that stuff, they would have said it. Again, if you're new here tonight and you feel threatened by what I'm saying, I'm not saying you don't belong here. In fact, I'll take it a step further. I'm not saying you do belong here. Sometimes I hear that from the podium. If you're here tonight, you're in the right place. How the hell do I know? Rather presumptuous of me. But let's go have a cup of coffee and talk. Let's do what Ron does and take you off to a side hallway and have a conversation with you. And, I know Ron well, I know some other guys in here, and Shay, and we all know 8 seconds into a conversation with a real alcoholic, you're already like, oh yeah, he's screwed. Yep. Yeah, and you're just, yeah, oh yeah, huh? And we know. We're kind of like deadheads, right? You're like, We know. But what I was about to say is some people have heard this, and for those that haven't, this will be new to you. Those that have heard it, whatever. We take 10 people. Any random 10 people off the street here in Doylestown. We throw them in a van and drive them up to the woods and lock them in a cabin for 10 days and pump them full of heroin. Guess how many people are going to come out of that cabin physically addicted to heroin after those 10 days? All of them. Why? Because heroin's an addictive drug. Now, let's take those same 10 people, or even a random other 10 people. Yeah, let's give those other 10 a break. They've been through enough. Right? But really, let's take another 10 people and let's take them up to that same cabin and lock them up there and pump them full of Corona, Budweiser, vodka, tequila. What's the new one? White clam something? Or what is it? Jesus. What happened to vodka? Right? But let's do that. Let's pump them full of vodka, champagne, beer, whatever. Throw anything at it. Tequila, wine, rum. The only person that's going to walk out of that cabin with an allergy to the alcohol is the one that walked in with one. I don't sit in a meeting and have a craving and then go drink. The craving is shut off after I drink. That's the difference. And that's very important. Because here's the deal, and then I'll move on. And I never thought I would say this, what I'm about to say, and it's probably the first time I'm ever going to say it. I have a daughter. Her mother's in AA. Her father's in AA. And I don't know if it's hereditary. I really don't. They say it is. It skips generations, all that stuff. I kind of try. All I know is I have it. That's what's important to me. I don't give a crap if it's because I'm Irish or whatever. Who cares? But here's the deal, and I mean what I'm about to say. If years down the road, that little girl has what I have and has what her mother has, I hope she walks into a room like this. I hope to God that if she really does have this thing called alcoholism, somebody doesn't walk up to her and say, just keep coming back. If you think about drinking, put this coin under your tongue, and if it melts, then you can have a drink. And here's the deal. I don't mean that to be funny or to be, I really don't. There's lives on the line here. And if that works for you and that's your journey, I embrace that and I honor that. Just please don't sponsor my daughter. Because she's going to do everything you ask her to do and die. Because she doesn't have what you have. And that's what we're up against here. I have alcoholism. Meaning I have it right here, right now. I'll always have alcoholism. it's neat. I'm not going to get too much into history, but I think it's really neat. Father Ed Dowling, Bill actually called him kind of his sponsor back in the day. He says that one of the gifts that people like us have been given, alcoholics, is what's called a divine discomfort. Meaning, I just got to keep doing this deal. There's something in me that when I kind of just kick back and, you know what I mean, kind of rest on my laurels and kind of just kind of hang out and kind of coast, I get weird real quick. I start getting a little itchy. All of a sudden Ron's getting on my nerves. Right? And he's 80 miles away. Right? Or Joe over at whatchamacallit starts getting on my nerves, or the wife, or the this, or that home group. Jesus, why can't they ever just agree with what I say in the business meeting, for Christ's sake? And I just start getting restless. I start getting a little irritable. I start feeling like I don't belong. And I go for a while, and eventually I get to a point where alcohol looks like medicine again. And it's the only relief in sight. And I drink again. And I can't understand why. And this went on for years. I'm not going to stand up here tonight and you guys, hopefully you're convinced from everything that I've said that I got this thing. I got this thing. And I didn't understand that I had it. I would go out drinking with my friends, and this is when the party starts to die, right? And I'm down in Lower Manhattan, the financial district working, and it's a Tuesday night, and the VP's in from out of town, and all my friends are going, hey, we're going over to Suspenders down on near Wall Street down in Manhattan. We're going to go down to Suspenders tonight and have a couple, throw back a couple cold ones, eat a steak, and we need you to come. You're one of the managers. And I'd be like, oh, man. Jesus, I'm thinking this in my head, I got 2 weeks over. I can't. Oh my God, I can't. Oof, all right, maybe, all right, I won't drink, but it's corporate. I can't not though. And I start doing, the chatter starts taking over. And this is Shannon without a solution. And I start looking out the window at the Manhattan skyline, and I start thinking, man, if I go there tonight and I drink, I can't. I love this job. I'm making good money. Finally, I had arrived. I can't. All right, I'm just going to go, and I'll just have a quick burger and tell them I got to go. I got plans I got to go. And 3 days later, I'm missing. Because I go to that bar with the best intentions in the world, and I get to that bar, and the music's playing, and the shots are going around, and the boss is there, and, the waitress is doing her thing, and I start thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, what's one going to do? Two, and then that's it. We'll have two, all right, two and a shot. You can't go to a bar and not have a shot. So we'll have 2 drinks, a shot, and then we're out of here. See, and the problem with that is I have this thing. I have this thing that once the mind does what the mind does, and it punks me out again, and it tells me just have one. Now, after I've had that one, you might as well take my head and throw it in the garbage, because now my body's making all the decisions after that. I don't have an off switch. I love what our book says. It says, Shannon, you're not drinking to escape. You're drinking to overcome this thing. And your mind's not strong enough to shut it down. And that's what happens. And I go out that night with a firm resolution, I'm just going to have a couple, I'm not going to do this anymore, and I drink, and guess what? The next day I'm supposed to be there because the VP's in town, and I'm calling in sick. And that's like a Tuesday. That's not even the dark pain and suffering that this place took me. But I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what the allergy looks like in my life. But here's what's just as important, and that's kind of how I want to kind of circumvent all this tonight, is here's the thing that baffled me for many years in and out of the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. My last, without exaggeration, probably 10 years of drinking in and out of the rooms of AA, I knew unequivocally without a shadow of a doubt that I had the allergy. I knew that if I drank again, I would have an abnormal reaction, and that I would drink more and I wouldn't be able to shut it down. And guess what? I drank anyway. That's weird. And I couldn't understand. In fact, I remember having 4 or 5 months sober, and some guy had sat down and broke down the doctor's opinion to me, and I actually heard it for the first time, and he told me about this allergy and this weird thing that happens once I put alcohol in my system. And I went, oh my, no wonder. And I was running all over AA like a prophet. Guys, you know why we drink the way we drink? Allergy. I was doing big book workshops. One step, but no solution. But I really was. I was excited. I was like, oh my God, finally this makes sense. That's why I go out and drink. That's why. But our first step says we admitted we were powerless over alcohol. That allergy is a piece of it. It's not the whole picture. The powerlessness, the true essence of the powerlessness that Bill was talking about when he wrote that step was, I'm going to drink even when I don't want to drink. I'm going to drink even knowing that I have the allergy. And that sucks. I had a sponsee call me a couple weeks ago crying from New York City. I mean, that cry, that dark night of the soul, I can't do this anymore, drunk. And that's what he said. He said, buddy, I got to be honest with you. I've always believed everything you've said to me, Shannon, but guys like me will never get it. I always end up here where I'm at, right? And he was at a bar in the Bronx. And he's outside on the phone talking to his sponsor drunk. I mean, that's where his party takes him. Right? It's so funny, too. 2 hours before that, because he was talking to another sponsee of mine, he's like, yeah, man, FAA, and I'm going to strip clubs, and I'm going to, music's playing in his head, I'm going to, I'm going to have fun, it's going to be like, strippers and shacks, and 2 hours later, he's bawling to his sponsor. I want to die. I'm like, what happened to the... I don't say anything, but... Bang. And I get where he's at. He said, I will always drink. I will always drink. And so will I. Without a solution. This thirst for a divine with the divinity that I talked about in the beginning... You know what replaced the alcohol? You. Your love for me. The 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. A home group. A commitment at that home group. Sponsees, road trips. If your sponsor says get in the car, get in the car. Those words saved my life. I remember my sponsee, no lie, he lived in Queens at the time. I was living in Brooklyn. And he would call me up, and he didn't say, what are you doing tonight? Because he already, I'd lie. I got this thing I had nothing going on. I burnt my life to the ground. YouPorn, Netflix. What the hell am I doing with 4 days sober, right? I'm thinking a lot. That's what I'm doing. I'm thinking. But he didn't say, what are you doing? What he would say, and I'm so glad that he said it, he would say, you out of work? And I'd say, yeah, I'm home. All right, I'll be there in an hour. Click. I'm like, yep. And I'd walk down the steps of my tombstone, and I'd get in the back of his car, and he'd be all happy. And we're going out to see. We actually did one. We came out here when Bob and him did a workshop out here, and I'd been up and running by then. But it was just, I hate Jersey. I don't want to go to Jersey. Or we're going over here to Rikers Island, or we're going over here to Bellevue. Man, I don't want to do that stuff. I got, stuff I want to do. PlayStation, something. I just... rekindle things from my 8th grade ex-girlfriend. Anything but a rehab commitment. But I had beaten myself down so bad that the only thing that I could say when he was outside beeping the horn was, okay. And I had no idea that that's what grace was. Okay. I had what happened to me is I'd been beaten into a state of reasonableness. And I'll never forget, it was always on the way to wherever we were going, I'd be... check Tinder real quick. And he'd, how you doing? Oh, good. I'm just grateful to be here, man. Hey, brother. Yeah. And I wouldn't even remember the car ride home because I'd be so high off of God. I'd be skipping up my steps. It'd be 3 a.m. We left at 7 p.m. I wasn't even tired. And I'd go to bed that night and oh my God, thank God I said yes. Say yes. If there's anything that I said tonight, if you're asked to serve Alcoholics Anonymous, say yes. Especially when it doesn't make sense. A friend of mine and I were talking tonight, and this isn't directed towards them, it just kind of, there's times where I don't feel like doing stuff here. Like right now. No, just kidding. No, but there's times when I'm tired and I just worked with some guys and the work's been crazy and I really don't feel like going to do that commitment at Princeton. True story. My soon-to-be ex-wife and I, one night we were like, we're not going to home group. Let's just stay home tonight. Let's chill out and watch Netflix and do whatever and I just worked, and we're both looking at each other. Yep, we're not going. You're not going, right? I'm not going. Are you going? Nope, I'm not going. We're not going. As we're pulling in the parking lot of home group. We have feet that just move in a direction that seems to work. Please say yes. And your mind's going to scream out, no. You can't go do that commitment. You're a phony. You're fake. You don't feel free. Go do the commitment and see how you feel after. Doesn't matter how we feel, does it really? My sponsor says that all the time. Doesn't matter how you feel. It's not why we're here. You predicating everything on how you feel is what's got you in this predicament that you're in, Shannon. I just pulled you out of another psych center. It's not working. How about we act on principle instead? Let's see how that works. I didn't go to a big chronological thing tonight. I just kind of went where the Spirit took me. I hope I carried a message of depth and weight and love, most importantly. I did a bunch of book work today with some folks, and it was great, and I just, for whatever reason, the Spirit, I just didn't feel like kind of doing the 1, 2, 3s and ABCs. I just kind of wanted to have a general conversation with you about God and love and what AA has really, truly done for me, and what it's done for me and several others is, we talked about it earlier, a wholesale miracle. I love all you guys here. I really do. I love AA. If there's anyone in here tonight that you got some stuff going on, it'd be an honor to have a conversation with you. It really would. It would be an honor. Come see me. Come see Ron. Come see some of the guys in this group. Come see Dave. Come see Shay. Come see. There are people in this room that'll alter the course of their life to help you find freedom. The very essence of their freedom relies on giving it away to you. I'll end with this. In lieu of this divorce that I'm going through, and it's. I haven't been sitting around my one-bedroom apartment saying, why, God, why? Why? Why did you do this to me? Why? Not once. I've gone through some pain. I've gone through some crying nights and crying mornings. Sadness. It's a big loss. The home, the house, the wife, You know what's funny? In a matter of a few short weeks, looking back in hindsight, because that's how we learn everything here, right? What I've noticed is that it's pushed me closer to God. If you're going through something right now, you may not understand. It may be real hurtful. It might be dark. It might be confusing. It might be sad. That's all the ego ever really wants anyway. Just wants to figure it out. You got to figure this out. No, you don't. There's nothing to figure out here. What's neat, and then I'll end. Roll up your sleeves. Serve. Ask whatever divine thing that you believe in or don't believe in to give you the strength to walk through those flames, whatever they may be. And I'll promise you one thing. The flames that you're going to walk through, they're not even real. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Shannon, for coming here tonight and sharing that incredible message of hope and recovery with our group. A couple of quick announcements and we'll get out of here. The food and the fellowship for this group usually starts at 8 o'clock. The coffee's usually on at like 7:30, so if you enjoyed the hors d'oeuvres or you want to grab one of these $5 seats up front, get here early, hang out with us. There's always a meeting after the meeting, so if you're new or if you're struggling or if you've been coming for a while and it's just not working for you, hang out, grab somebody after the meeting. We're probably going out to eat after the meeting, so if that interests you, grab me or really anybody hanging out here after the meeting. We'll get you some information on that. We have a good time. The hoodie's really